This is Brandon Dialamonte, Program Coordinator for the City of Pittsburgh's Office of Special Events. And for this year's Black History Month, we are featuring Pittsburgh jazz legends. So today I have the honor of interviewing native Pittsburgher and international jazz legend, Roger Humphries. Roger, how are you today?
I'm fine, Brandon. Thank you for having me.
Of course, we're happy to have you for our event. And I just had to do a quick interview with you and maybe give the people of Pittsburgh a little insight into your life growing up in Pittsburgh in the 50s and 60s and what the music scene was like. And I think you'll have a lot of good stories and a lot of good insight for everybody.
Yes, I will.
Yeah, so let's start there. What was Pittsburgh like growing up at that time?
Well, boy, I grew up in a musical family, okay? So therefore, at the age of 3, I started playing. And the reason why that was because I had older brothers who played. One brother who played the drums, another brother who played the saxophone. Not only that, I had uncles and all, who played trumpet, saxophone. I come from like a musical family, and I've been blessed, I've been playing like all my life. At the age of 3.5, that's when I first, and there's a picture of me with Tina Harris taking this picture of me and my older brother in a Santa Claus outfit at that particular time. And what happened right after that, I met Art Blakey as a kid, okay? So he knew my uncles and everybody. So music has been in my life, ever since I was a little boy at the age of 3.5.
Yeah, you had a pretty big family, I guess, growing up, right?
Right. Matter of fact, I'm the youngest out of 10.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So I guess that covers how you got started in music. What was the area like around that time? What were the city and the people, and how was it changed compared to today?
Well, there was a lot of music at that time circulating. And not only that, I had friends who played music, who trumpet player, sax player. Another friend of mine played the bass, and there's a whole lot going on, but you have to realize there was all kind of nightclubs all over the place, all through the Hill District and what have you. And I joined the bands, going to school, and there was a whole lot of music. Matter of fact, to me, it was more music then, what it is like right now.
Yeah, I've definitely heard that before, that the jazz scene used to be much larger in Pittsburgh than it is today. But we're lucky to have people like you keeping it going. So I wanted to get to my next question here for you. Since you had brothers that played music, would you say they were really your inspiration to get into music? Was there somebody locally or even on a national level maybe who helped inspire you to get where you are today?
Well, the one that his name is Art Blakey. Everybody knows him because he's from Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. But he really inspired me because as a young kid, he let me sit in and play with his band, And then after that, I met Max Roach, okay? And he used to come to the grill, and he inspired me a whole lot. And I met Joe Harris, a little bit later because he had went to York. But there's so many great drummers, man, who inspired me because we listened to music a whole lot. Philly Joe, all of them, man.
Yeah.
Roy Haynes, all of them,
So when you say the grill, I have to assume you mean the Crawford Grill. And could you talk a little bit more about maybe what that place was like back in its heyday?
Oh, wow. I met some of the greatest players, in the world. Excuse me for a minute. At the Crawford Grill. And, to me, coming up at that age, the Crawford Grill was like going to school because you meet so many great people and you hear so many things and how they were playing, and like you kind of put them within your plan, how you play, and give you an idea who you playing with. If you're playing with a piano player, maybe your approach would be one way, like when the 3 sounds was there, You hear Art Blakey and the Jazz Messenger, you hear the voices of the trumpet. So like, really, it was like a school for me, at an early age, man.
Yeah. So speaking of school, you've had the opportunity to teach as well, have you not? University of Pittsburgh, I think I saw, as well as Slippery Rock and some other universities.
Yes.
How does that experience compare to playing live on a stage? And would you say you prefer one to the other, or are they two separate animals?
Two separate, because sometimes when you're teaching, you got to find a way to teach that particular student, for them to get your concept of what you're trying to show them, what you're trying to do, like with rudiments or anything. And not only that, after you develop all that, you try to have students to pay attention to, like when you start playing, to the other instruments that you're playing with. And for me, because the fact that I came up not being able to study, the drum, taking real drum lessons, what have you, it was a great experience for me. It helped me a whole lot because it helped me start getting involved with reading, and understanding music, a little deeper and deeper, so I can be in a conversation with the other musician if you can read,
Yeah. So is teaching something you have a passion for? I wanted to ask, what do you think you'd be doing if you hadn't gotten into music in the first place? Was there any other options for you at the time, or was it music or nothing?
Well, no, I used to like to draw a whole lot. My oldest brother was an artist, but I always like to express myself, in some kind of way with the, especially with my music. But if it wasn't my music, I don't know exactly what I would be doing, except like I said, the art. I always loved the art, trying to sketch something, what have you.
Yeah, you're definitely an artist to your core, it sounds like.
Yes, well, I tell you one thing, it's been a beautiful experience. And you're talking about teaching to express something, to show another person, how you're thinking. And because it's all right, man, you understand reading and what that's all about, but being able to take that and express yourself through the music is another thing, because I tell all the students, you got to learn how to read, man. I didn't have any teacher that taught me how to read, but you got to be able to read to interpret what somebody else is trying to say to you. That's the purpose of reading, to understand that, but that doesn't make you a heck of a musician. That's something that's given, that's a gift that's given to you. But you want to get the challenge part out by saying, oh, hey, man, yes, I can read too. You understand? You're not the only one who can read. Now I can interpret what you're trying to say to me through the music. And that's what that's.
I will say that I played guitar for maybe 15, 17 some years, and I thought I knew how to play until I ended up joining a jazz band. And one of the first songs we played was Song for My Father, which when we first had you at Reservoir of Jazz, I couldn't believe this was the guy from Song for My Father. That song is sort of legendary. And I was just wondering if you had any kind of insight. What would you say is your favorite song to play? Or is there a song in particular that you would want people to hear to say, like, this is the Roger Humphries experience, is this album or this song?
Wow, great question. I like when I was doing the Kicker and like Nutville with Horace Silver. And Song for My Father was great for me, because it took me to another place in the music world, because it was such a hit that Horace Silver wrote the song, and I just, put my rhythm behind it, best that I could, what I was hearing, and simplicity to a point, and that's what happened, the Song for My Father. And I'm fortunate that I was on that recording with him. But the other ones was, like I said, Nutville and the Kicker, where I get a chance to play and express myself,
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. How did you end up getting hooked up with Horace Silver in the first place?
He was transforming the band, from the guys who's in the band. He's looking for a new group, So Woody Shaw, he was looking for Woody Shaw, and well, Carmel Jones was the first trumpet player. Then, you had like Teddy Smith was the first bass player, and then you had my man Joe Henderson. And like, I'm gonna tell you something, man. It was very nervous for me, because we went to Len Oliver's studio, and there it was like Billy Cobham, man, some of the other drummers that was in there waiting to be auditioned, you know what I mean, to take the role. It had me so I was very nervous, man, at that audition. And one of the things, man, like people got to remember, poor Silver heard something within me that he wanted. I'm not saying that I was a better drummer than none of these guys, 'cause they had been out there, but it's just like something that he heard in me, and that he wanted to give me the opportunity. And that's what happened, you know, for me, because I'm not ego tripping off anything. Like I said, there was a lot of bad drummers in there, but sometimes it's your taste bud, and you can help another younger one to develop who they become. And I was always thankful to him, man. He was a beautiful guy. And it's the same way with Stanley Turntine. You know, I come right out of high school, got the gig with him at the age of 18.
Yeah.
You know? So that was great also.
Yeah. So I know you've had many collaborations with big artists. What was it like working with Ray Charles?
Oh, that was a great experience, because it made my awareness like so sensitive to follow him. You know what I mean? Because when he led the band, he led kind of like with his body motion when he did tunes like Georgia and other things. But that was a great experience, man.
Yeah.
Business-wise, everything, you know, taught me a lot, you know, about the band or what he had to do, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's great. So I know you've played kind of all over the world, and we've already talked about Crawford Grill a little bit, but is there one venue in particular that you enjoy more than any other, was the best place you've ever played?
I would say the Crawford Grill.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, I played many places, but the Crawford Grill was the place, man. That was the atmosphere for like all the John Coltrane, I mean, everybody, man. The Crawford Grill was the place.
Yeah. Yeah. And that says a lot considering you've played all over.
Yeah, I liked them. And all over had a different experience. But the vibe, I guess, because I'm from Pittsburgh, you know, and the people, the audience that came in there took you to another place, you know. I played Berlin, like you said, I played so many places, but coming up through the Crawford Grill was such a warm place, you know, and like it being at home, and that's where I was at home in Pittsburgh, playing at the Crawford Grill. Max Roach and also Art Blakey and all the people let me sit in, you know.
Yeah.
And one of the things they taught me, they said, whatever you do, man, you pass it on. Pass it on. And that's one of the things I try to do, is pass it on to my friends and students.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that kind of leads me into my next question. What kept you, a lot of these local Pittsburgh musicians had kind of moved on to other places around the country. What kind of kept you in Pittsburgh? Besides the great music scene at the time, is there something else that kept you in the area besides a family or anything like that?
Yes, I had a family. My father, brother lived in St. Nicholas Avenue, 770 St. Nicholas. And like we would be in New York all the time. And when I started playing, you know, like I said, living there for a little bit, had to leave my family. You get experience, man, with people all over the world and people that you're involved with. And you understand sometimes everybody don't have the same relationship with their family, or maybe, you know, what they want to do. But my family was always very tight. And I started thinking to myself, man, I said, I got a wife and kids, and I travel all over the place. I'm getting all my experience, but there is no way I can go back and, you know, wish that I did what I really want to do, and that was to be in Pittsburgh and play my music. So my mindset was like, I want to take my feelings, my vibes that I get from New York City and take them back to Pittsburgh with me and be with my family, my wife and my kids. And that's what I did, you know, because when the music's in you, it's in you. You just have to make that atmosphere. And I wanted to have my cake and eat it too. So I wanted my music and I wanted my family. So I said, no, I'm going back to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, well, I'd say it worked out for you. So
yeah, blessed.
Yeah, and I guess I'll get to my last question here. What do you have going on? Anything in the upcoming future once all this crazy COVIDness is over?
Yes, it's about 2.5 million things in my mind that I want to do when the COVID thing's over with. But I think, first of all, we just have to start from the beginning and let the joints open up and let it be feel safe with you to interact with a lot of people and let it do its work, you know what I mean? And it's going to be a lot of changes because people are going to be recording and sending their music out to the world, you know, what you're doing, streamlining, and thank goodness for computers, man.
Yeah, right. What would we be doing? Yeah, yeah.
New technology.
Yeah, yeah. So we hope to have you at some of our concerts this year anyway then, and hopefully we get back to normal sooner than later.
And I thank you, man.
Yeah. All right, thanks so much, Roger.
Hey, happy Merry Christmas to you.
Hey, you too.